okay, Mr. Dorn?
Yeah. Come in, Charlie.
Just wanted to make sure you're okay before I went home.
I'm bloody but unbowed. I assume our puppeteer and his girlfriend left?
Yeah, they left a little while ago.
You know what we have to do now, don't you, Charlie? We have to find ourselves a new light and sound man and a new waitress.
Well, I guess I can do that all right, but we won't find a replacement for Kelly's other job in a hurry.
Come on, Charlie. There's no need those damn puppets around here.
Hey, remember we weren't doing so hot until he brought those little guys in. That's what brought the people in here.
All right. You get a puppeteer, but just get one who's more obedient.
You mean one who can control his temper? But it ain't going to be easy finding someone with Kelly's kind of talent.
It's not going to be easy for Kelly to find a job in this town with his kind of talent. That gives me some satisfaction.
You know, it seems to me that you're both hurting yourself on account of this thing.
Come on, Charlie. Don't be a peacemaker. I want to have that kid back in here if it costs me a fortune.
Well, the kid's nuts about that little Jody girl. Come on, he'll apologize once he gets around to it.
Listen, Charlie, that kid's a maniac. Didn't you see the way his eyes went blank? Just like one of his puppets.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you gotta be crazy to play with dolls at his age.
It was kind of weird, Mr. Dorn. Sure, the kid went nuts, but maybe it was a full moon or something, huh?
People are doing strange things tonight. You can go home, Charlie.
Okay, boss. Now you take care of yourself, huh? I'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.
Maybe it is the full moon.
The hell do you want here, Dorn?
A social call, Chief. Raven left a phone number lying around.
So that was you who called before, wasn't it?
I just had to find out where my sweetheart was.
Get out of here. You have no right to be here.
Sorry I missed you, darling. I stopped by to have a cup of tea. Have you ever had one of Raven's teas, Chief? She makes a mean cup.
All right, Dorn, take a walk.
Don't pull your badge, Chief. I was gonna leave anyway. I have to get back to my office. There's a certain document I have to get out of my safe. I need it for tomorrow morning. Well, I guess I'll see you in court, darling.
Yes. Let me get that letter. It may concern. I, Raven Swift, mother of Jamison Swift. Sorry, darling. You're not gonna have Jamie's millions after all. Yes? Charlie?
Anybody there? Anybody home?
Strange night. Hearing sounds now.
Did it mean that much to you to have him find you here?
He's a monster, Derek. You don't know.
He used to be your lover, didn't he? I don't think you're revealing any secrets. It's obvious.
All right, so we had a thing. That was ages ago.
Does he know that?
Yes.
Why does it upset you so much to have him come up here now?
Because he scares me. You have no idea what kind of a man he is. He gets very jealous.
Worried about me? Don't be. I can take care of myself.
No, I'm worried about something else.
It's not going to harm you either. I promise you that. If you want me to deliver a little warning in advance, I will. I can do that very effectively.
Oh, I feel sick.
You want something?
No. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go home.
Maybe you ought to relax.
No, I gotta go home.
All right, I'll drive you.
No, he might be outstairs watching.
That's all the more reason for me to be
Derek,
here.
no!
He said he was going back to his office. What did he mean by that? Document he had to get.
I don't know. I have to go home. I have to think.
Hello, Mallory.
Chief, it's Calvin.
Calvin, what's up?
Well, I was passing the Unicorn a couple of minutes ago, and I noticed the lights were on, so I asked Officer Ronaldo to let me in.
But was it a burglary?
No, it's more than that. It's murder. Well, Chief, as you can see from all indications, the stabbing took place approximately right here.
Is this the only place you found any blood?
Yeah, I figured he probably stumbled to the telephone before he collapsed because it was off the hook when I arrived.
And this is the light switch. But we don't know that he intended to activate the light in the sound system.
He probably did it to signal for help.
All right, so we know how, when, and where. Now I want to know who and why.
Well, my guess is that Eliot knew his attacker.
What makes you think that?
Well, there's nothing to indicate that robbery was the motive.
Yeah, the register was still full of money.
Yeah, but a surprised robber doesn't always finish what he started.
Yeah, but the murder took place after the club was already closed. So either Eliot let the person in, or he had a key.
Yeah, but it's possible that whoever killed him entered during business hours, hid in the restroom until the place cleared out, then made his move. Just how big is Dorn's enemy list anyway, do you know?
Well, he's no threat to be the sweetheart of Monticello, but offhand, I really can't think of anybody who disliked him enough to want to see him dead.
Now, we got in touch with Charlie Harmon, his bartender, so we can talk to him and find out about Eliot's known associates.
All right, fine. Anybody needs me, I'm going back to headquarters. The Dorn autopsy ought to be finished by now.
Okay, you know, if Harmon did help Eliot close up, he was probably the last person to see him alive.
Well, it's a pretty safe bet that if he wasn't, I was. Keep me posted.
What do you mean by that?
Jamie, will you shut up and go back to sleep? God, I can't believe this. I slipped in the closet. Always thinking of yourself, aren't you? No consideration for your mother. Oh, God, did I have an awful night. You don't care, do you? Go on, play with your toys. I gotta get dressed and get out of here. Oh. Today is the last day of court, Jamie, and Mommy wants to look especially nice when they tell her that she gets you forever and everything. Oh, God. I can't put on this makeup like this. I'm gonna look like a clown. All right, Raven. Calm down. Everything is all right. It's going to be just fine. There's some music.
And that's how the presidential candidates plan to be spending this day. Turning to the local scene, Coriander Street on Monticello's east side was the site of a brutal murder during the night. The crime took place in the Unicorn Discotheque, a popular gathering place for the city's young people. Police surmise that sometime between the hours of 1 and 2 a.m., well after closing time, the night spot's proprietor, Eliot Dorn, fell victim to a knife-wielding assassin and was stabbed in the back fatally. Police on the scene report that no arrests have been made, but are confident that their investigation will result in the speedy apprehension of Dorn's killer. Since arriving in Monticello some 2 years ago, Eliot Dorn led what an associate described as a checkered career, a fact that police are taking into consideration in their investigation.
Would you mind if I turn this off? I've heard quite enough.
Of course, it's quite a shocking thing to wake up to.
You know, I never really cared very much for Eliot Dorn, but this is dreadful.
Well, you could hardly say I was a member of his fan club, but disliking somebody and hating them enough to commit murder are two different ballgames.
Logan, do you suppose that Raven was still keeping company with Eliot?
I don't know, Geraldine. Raven never kept me up to date on her social calendar.
Nor did she when you were living together as man and wife.
No. My guess would be that they were still seeing each other, that the affair hadn't died out. I wonder if Raven knows about all of this.
My dear, it's all over the news.
Maybe I should give her a call.
Do you really think you could serve any purpose by telling her this news yourself?
No, it's always painful when you lose someone you care about. She just went through that with her mother. Maybe I can help soften the blow.
My dear Logan, sometimes the degree of compassion you show amazes me.
Hello?
Raven, this is Logan.
What do you want?
Well, I just wondered if you'd heard the news this morning or seen a paper.
Yes, I heard about Eliot on the radio. It's horrible.
Yes, it is. The police will catch whoever did it, though, that's for sure.
Right. It must have been one of his clients who had a few too many and then got belligerent.
Well, it's possible.
I know a lot of creeps hang out in that place. I told Eliot he should hire a bouncer, but... what do you want?
Well, I thought the news might have upset you, so I thought I'd call and see how you were feeling.
That would please you very much, wouldn't it?
Listen now, I wouldn't mind you being shaken up about Eliot. After all, you were friends.
Eliot Dorn meant absolutely nothing to me, but of course I'm upset. Who wouldn't be? An acquaintance of mine has been brutally murdered, and it's terrible.
If you'd like a few days off from the trial, I'm sure Judge Lewis would oblige.
Why would I want to do that?
Well, losing Eliot so soon after your mother's death, I thought it might help.
Logan, I know exactly what you're up to, of all the underhanded things to do.
What are you talking about?
You're trying to use Eliot's death to your own advantage.
I'm doing no such thing.
Look, you're hoping that I ask for a delay so some miracle might happen and shift the advantage. Just forget it.
Raven, I have no intention of trying...
Logan, I happen to feel perfectly able to go on with the trial today, so I'll see you in court.
What I'd like to know is where Mr. Dorn went to when he pulled his little disappearing act last night.
You know, the person he went to see might be able to fill in all the blanks for us.
Yeah, the only problem is that person or persons may have split town long before now.
Wasn't it interesting that the chief said that he might have been the last person to see Eliot alive?
Someone to see you, Kelly? You got your little puppet friends here, huh?
Right. Hey, let me see. Let's see if they're all right.
Are they okay?
So far, so good.
Yeah, well, they're where you usually keep them. I don't think they were touched.
No, I don't think Dorn got to them. They look fine.
Yeah, but one thing, kid. I looked and looked, and I only find 11 of your little pals here.
Yeah, so?
Well, I could have sworn you said you had an even dozen. Unless my hearing's going bad on me.
You know, you're right. There are only 11.
Yeah, well, I guess I must have been mistaken or something. I could have sworn that I had 12 in here.
She walked through that door with some startling new revelation. You know everything that I know.
Chief, this is a non-progress report.
I know. What we've got is what the preliminary investigation turned up. One knife, no prints, no witnesses, one suspect.
Well, I really can't believe that Kelly McGrath killed Eliot Dorn.
Why not? Because it's too easy? The more I think about the idea, the more it grows on me. The boy certainly had the motive.
Nah, he just got upset because Eliot made a pass at his girlfriend.
Yeah, well, people have been killed for a lot less. And what is this I hear about a discrepancy about his puppets?
Well, he said that he had a dozen puppets on hand at the club, but when the bartender brought them up for him to take home, there were only 11.
You don't think that might be significant?
Kelly said he probably miscounted.
Yeah, well, what if there were 12? What if the murderer removed one from the premises?
Yeah, I suppose a cloth hand puppet could serve the same purpose as a glove.
I think it might be worth looking into, Mr. McGrath's puppets.
Chief, before I do that, there's something I'd like to check out. I can do that right now.
What's that?
Well, you said earlier at the Unicorn that you might have been one of the last people to see Eliot alive. Could you explain that to me?
Yeah, I suppose I ought to make a statement for the record. All right, you listening?
Always listening.
Last night around 11 o'clock, Eliot Dorn showed up at my front door. He was looking for Raven Swift. Raven was with me, as it seems, and Eliot was not too pleased about that, so there was a little bit of a verbal scene. Raven was quite indignant about Eliot tracking her down like that, and I didn't appreciate him barging in on us. But he only stayed about 5 minutes. He told Raven he was going back to his office. There was a document he had to get out of his safe, that he would see her in court in the morning, and then he left.
A document? What does that mean?
Wait a minute. Yes, Helen. We'll send her in. Guess who?
I should have known.
Raven, what do you want?
Well, it looks like Deborah will finally get a chance to show her stuff in a real case. Since you're so good at solving crimes, who killed Eliot Dorn? So, Derek, I assume that you have assigned your ace detective to the case.
Deborah Saxon is a member of the investigative team, yeah?
Great, then this case should be cracked in no time.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Raven.
You're welcome. I just know that you have a gift for minding other people's business, so it should be a cinch for you to get to the bottom of this.
I'm going to do my best.
Do you have any leads?
That information is strictly confidential, at least for the time being.
As a matter of fact, Raven, I do have one suspect. And I'm going to do everything in my power to bring that person to justice as soon as possible.
Wonderful. Why don't you start tracking down this nefarious person so Derek and I can have a private conversation?
In a minute. I think if I'm going to conduct a thorough investigation, though, I should ask you a couple of questions.
You want a statement from me? What do I have to say to you?
I don't know. You were a very good friend of Eliot's.
Yes, I was a good friend. A long time ago.
So when was the last time you saw him?
Look, you'll just have to take my word for it that I have nothing to tell you that might help you crack this case. And as much as I would like to have a chat, I cannot give you any statements because I have to be in the courtroom in an hour.
Oh, all right. Then I will see you at your house later this afternoon, maybe this evening.
Don't bother. I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say? Nothing to say to me.
Will you leave me alone?
You know, refusing to cooperate could be considered obstruction of justice.
Derek, do I have to stand here and take this harassment?
All right, Detective. I'll take care of getting Raven's statement.
Lots of luck.
How this got to be a bestseller, I'll never know. Hello. Hello?
How's my little angel Martine doing?
Sky, I finally hear from you. Where are you, at the airport?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, babe. I'm still at my hotel in Paris.
But I thought you were arriving today.
Well, a hitch developed in the deal I was working with that repertory company, and I'm going to have to stick around a little bit and smooth the director's ruffled feathers. It can't be helped.
So, when I will be seeing you now?
Well, I'll catch the very first supersonic jet I can. It won't be more than a day or two. Do you miss me?
Of course I do. Listen, how can you do this to me, leaving me stranded like this?
I know Monticello isn't Rome or Paris or New York, but it's a pretty big little town. You'll manage.
I'm bored stiff. I was considering scrubbing the floors to give myself something to do. And that's not funny.
That'll be the day.
Oh, yes?
Well, listen, why don't you make the best of the situation? Go out and do something.
Like what?
How about shopping? That usually manages to amuse you. I think most of my accounts are still open at the stores.
You know I hate to do things by myself, and I don't know a soul here.
Then read a good book. Or clear some space and do your exercises. That'll kill some time, and it'll be good for you.
I'm going to hate it here. I just know it.
Look, Sherry, there are things I've got to do. I try to have fun.
Listen.
I'll call you tonight.
Listen.
Au revoir.
Listen, Sky. Have fun.
Leases, bills, insurance policy, and about $500 in cash. That's it.
Well, I don't think the motive could have been robbery anyway, even if the killer had opened the safe.
Yeah, well, the safe was shut tight as a drum when Eliot was killed.
All I can find here is paper clips and rubber bands and a couple of notes, bills. That's it.
You know, Red, I'm not really sure this makes any sense at all. I mean, we didn't find anything the first time we went through, and so what? Eliot mentioned a document.
It was just a peculiar time to mention it, Calvin, that's all.
If there had been a special document, the killer might have taken it with him.
You know, that's the second time you've done that.
Done what?
Said him. What kind of a sexist remark is that, anyway? Why couldn't the killer have been a woman?
Mr. Nelson, are you prepared to call your next witness?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. We'd like to call Mr. Logan Swift at this time.
Mr. Logan Swift, please take the stand. Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name.
Logan Swift.
Be seated.
Mr. Swift, you're the district attorney in Monticello.
Yes, I am.
It's a very responsible position.
I would say that, yes.
The chief prosecuting attorney in Monticello. Very aware of justice. Aware of the difference between truth and falsehood.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sure the court is well aware of the function of Mr. Swift's office.
Your Honor, it is just part of the characterization of the witness.
Judge, we readily concede that Mr. Swift is in favor of truth and justice and the American flag and motherhood.
Your Honor, I think...
Let's do without this colloquy, gentlemen, if you don't mind. You may proceed with your questions, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Swift, you're aware that law and custom usually favor the mother in a child custody suit, aren't you?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And yet, you are suing for custody of your child because you believe it's in his best interest.
Yes, I do.
You honestly feel that Raven Swift is not capable of raising a healthy, happy, normal child, correct?
No, I do not.
Would you please tell the court the circumstances which led to the separation between you and your wife?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel's trying to change this into a divorce proceeding.
Yes, Mr. Nelson, I still fail to see how this question applies to the welfare of the child.
Well, surely, Your Honor, if we could establish infidelity in the case of Mrs. Swift...
Your Honor, we request a ruling.
I'll sustain the objection.
Yes, Your Honor. All right, just before your separation, where was your baby Jamie at that time?
My wife had arranged for friends of ours to look after him, the Scotts. She was supposed to have joined me on a campaign tour that I was making.
Ah, but you didn't. Why not?
She was busy.
Objection?
All right. I'll withdraw the question. Now, after the separation from your wife, she went off to London. She left the baby with the Scotts, correct?
That's correct.
What did you do when you found out about that?
Well, I went to the Scotts, to my friend, Mr. Scott, and found that she had literally given the baby to them to raise as their own.
Objection, Your Honor. There's absolutely no proof of this contention.
The objection is overruled, Mr. Rutledge.
Thank you, Your Honor. Go on, Mr. Swift.
Well, I asked Mr. Scott to return my son to me, and he, of course, agreed. I then took Jamie to my apartment, where I made suitable accommodations for competent daycare.
Where he would have remained had Mrs. Swift not come back from London and abducted him from you.
Objection, Your
Honor.
Honor.
All right. Had Mrs. Swift not come back and taken the baby from you without your knowledge or permission, correct?
She took him from Monticello General just as he was due to be discharged after an illness. I cannot fault the hospital for this. They were simply following established procedure. But there's no question that it was underhanded on the part of my wife.
Did you try to repossess your son by similar underhanded methods?
No, I did not.
Well, isn't it common in cases such as these that the parents would simply kidnap their baby back again? I'm sure you must have run into similar situations while you were district attorney.
It does happen. There were 4 such cases in Monticello this year.
Yet you chose to come to the courts to solve your problem.
That's correct.
Why? And you knew the odds were against you. I mean, you're certainly aware of custom here, and you're aware of the prejudice that exists in the court.
Mr. Nelson, please.
Oh, Your Honor, that wasn't a personal attack. It's just that it is true. Mr. Swift is a member of our profession. He knows that the courts operate under a philosophy that women are better parents than men, however erroneous that philosophy may be. Yet he chose to come into court here rather than to commit a crime.
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I
no
feel
simple testimony.
I feel that this man should have the right to say what he feels about his son. He should have the right to speak up. He should have the right to say why he is a better parent. And I think for the sake of Jamie Swift, he should be able to say it now.
Well, the court has no objection to hearing a statement from the father, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I know it is very unusual for the father to be the person that raises a child, but it is being done, and it can be done well if there is enough love. I love Jamie. I love him very much, and I do not believe that he can get that kind of love in the custody of his mother. I won't speak against her. She is what she is. I accepted that. I married her. We had a child together. But my son caused me to see my wife differently. The fact that she and I are wrong for each other as husband and wife is of no consequence. What's important is that she is the wrong mother for that little boy. I do not believe that she loves him. Perhaps she doesn't even love herself. I don't know. I do know that you will be harming 2 lives if you grant custody to her. Now, one of them doesn't matter that much. My life is not the issue here, but Jamie's life matters. It matters very much. Well, it's hard enough to get through this world as it is without love. It's almost impossible.
All rise. Be seated.
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to call any other witnesses? Oh, Counselor. Counselor, I asked you a question.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Do you wish to call any other witnesses?
We have no further witnesses at this time, Your Honor.
Then you are prepared to rest your case?
No, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to ask for a continuance.
Well, for what purpose, Mr. Nelson?
Well, we have discovered some new evidence which we think may be pertinent to this case.
Your Honor, is there any reason to delay these painful proceedings any longer than necessary?
Just one moment, please, Mr. Rutledge. Mr. Nelson, what is the nature of this evidence that you have uncovered?
Well, I'm not really free to divulge the nature of it, but I can assure you that it will certainly be pertinent to the case, Your Honor.
Cliff, what are you doing?
Well, all that I'm asking is some time to examine whether or not this evidence will come to light. Surely in a case involving a child's life, 1 day wouldn't matter?
All right, Mr. Nelson. I don't think any great harm can be caused by a delay of 1 day in this matter.
Your Honor, this is nothing more than an attempt to stall the inevitable. And it's really most unfair to my client, who's been...
But your client already has possession of the child, Mr. Rutledge. No, I think we can grant Mr. Swift and his attorney 1 more day. This court will stand adjourned until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All rise.
What is going on here? What are they trying to do?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Would it be too much trouble for you to tell me precisely what the hell you are doing? We have no new evidence. You're only going to make a bad situation much worse.
Yes, but we are going to have evidence by tomorrow morning. Remember what Scarlett said about Eliot Dorn having some sort of document?
Yeah, what about it?
I'll bet you that document is Raven's letter.
I'm sorry, Cliff, I don't follow your reasoning. Why would Eliot Dorn have Raven's letter?
Come on, what other document could he be talking about, huh?
Anything. Contract, a lease, a letter of agreement?
Exactly. A letter of agreement that Raven gave April before she went off to London.
You're forgetting one thing. I was there when the letter was destroyed.
Did you actually see it destroyed?
Well,
did you see her burn it? Did she tear it up?
I saw the letter.
How do you know it was even the letter in question?
I held it in my hand. I went there specifically for the purpose of getting it. Of course, so did Raven.
Why do you have to be so hard on me? I know I've done a lot of rotten things in my life, but I'm different.
Different? That's funny. I look at you and see exactly the same woman I made the mistake of marrying.
If you see the same woman, you must still want me.
Oh, Raven. All I want from you is that you take very good care of Jamie until this custody suit is settled.
All right. All right, I will return him to you in good condition. There, you see, I admit it. You win and I lose. Here's the letter. Let me see that. That's a forgery.
The real letter, Raven.
Okay. So you know that Raven threw the letter off the terrace. But how do you know it wasn't caught?
By Eliot Dorn.
Possibly.
A 32-story catch? It's good. He should be in the majors. Of course, you'll tell me that he was... Of course, he could have been waiting, couldn't he?
Scarlett told me that the chief said that Raven was very upset by Eliot's remarks, right?
Yeah. And what would upset her more than the sudden reappearance of that letter?
It showed that she perjured herself in court.
No, we're just giving in to wishful thinking, Cliff.
Well, considering what's happening in that courtroom, I don't think we have much choice, do we? Remember how we said that the letter would be the key to the case?
What you got there?
This is the key we're looking for. I conned it off of Deborah.
That's the key to the unicorn. How'd you get her to give you that?
Well, let's just say that Deborah and I have the same theories, and she was more than happy to cooperate.
Cliff, the cops have been through that club with a fine-tooth comb. You're not going to find anything.
But they didn't know what to look for. I do. Must have not paid their electric bill, huh? Let's see. If I were a letter, where would I hide? Well, certainly wouldn't be out here and everybody find me, right? Nice, huh? big mice.
Hey, come on with your hands up!
Charlie, what are you yelling about? Hey, I'm telling you, there's somebody in there. I heard some noises. Charlie, come on, you been drinking again? I want to go out to the car. I want to listen to the game. Come on. I'm telling you, man, there's somebody in there. Charlie, are you crazy? Hey, come on, don't move, don't struggle, don't put up. Raven.